So the reason why I had to record getting on the bus, because again, they love to use the numbers, all right, in terms of when they targeted me, all right. They're always using particular numbers, right? And what I think is that when they get like false witnesses, they will use a particular amount of number for those witnesses, and so they'll start showing up with all these, like the number 3, number 4. That's the number they've been using lately. Also number 9, right? Whenever something that comes on that says the number 9 on it, they will engage in police sirens or car honking at times. It depends. All right. So yeah. Also, they were using, let's see what else. Oh yeah, so those white people that I was about to get on the bus, that were walking by, and one of them stuck his fingers in his ears or what have you. So amongst all the black people waiting on the bus, they'll have like 3 or 4 white people targeting me. Same thing they do with the Hispanic women, also with the Hasidic Jews. They'll do the same thing too, right? So and there's a reason why you see so many people at that bus stop. Normally there's not a lot of people at that bus stop, okay? Doesn't matter what time of the day. Well, it depends. If it's like very early during the day, like around 4 or 5 o'clock, school's out and stuff like that, so yeah, you got a lot of kids, and but anytime after 6, 7, there's not a lot of people at that bus stop. But you see them tonight, and it's for a particular reason, right? Like I said, I've learned to recognize these things. Not also have I learned because I've been trained to recognize these things, but I've learned to expose it in such a way that to make you guys understand what's going on. Right? For those of you who are watching, if you're a TI and somewhat confused of what's going on, try not to be led in these wild out there sort of thinking, because that's what they want to discredit you, right? This is why I focus on certain aspects of technology that I know exists, because there's documentation of it, and the psychological aspect of it, because again, the documentation of these things, and this is why, like, whenever the word real is said, or reality, if I say the word reality and they just heard the police siren, they will use the police siren, right? Because and again, why do they do that? Because we are conditioned with a delusional mindset, particularly us TIs, but also black people in this country and around the world, right? We are conditioned with a delusional mindset. We are conditioned to not look at our reality, right? Because our minds are binded by religion, for one. 2, material things, right? Like I said, black women are in America are the most consumers of luxury items, right? But most black women don't make a lot of money. The vast majority of black women make a lot of money, right? But they are the number 1 consumers of luxury brand items. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And again, this is not by coincidence. There's no other group of women who spend more money on luxury items than black women. And out of all groups of women, black women make the least. Okay? But again, when it comes to data, statistics, information, truth, we don't want to hear those things. Because we've been taught a lie for so long, and we believe the lie, which is, religion and other things. This is why, again, whenever black men start speaking the truth, they will send white men to try to discredit what black men say. You see all these black women be like, yeah, girl, Zaddy's telling them the truth. Yeah, well, why don't you go look it up yourself? Why don't you go do the research? You see, because the white racists know how they condition you. They know that, particularly for black women, they're not going to go look at the information, because they're conditioned to not want to know these things. On top of that, they're conditioned also to see those things as not important. So they will spend hours putting on makeup. But when it comes to sitting at a table with their children to help them do their homework, they can't do it. They can't do it. They literally can't do it. Like I said, it's not their fault. It's the conditioning. So I always want people to remember that, right? So yeah, I mean, talk about black men and black women, right? But most of the things that happen to us is not our fault, whether it be internally or externally, right? So when you as a black person, when you begin to understand that, you have more empathy. But that doesn't mean because you have more empathy that you can't speak the truth, because you have to help to wake your brothers and sisters up. And not just within your own group, but white people too, Asian people too, Hispanic people too, okay? Native, so-called American, Native Indian people too, right? But I'm black, so I focus mainly on black people. And I've said this before, if white people will go look and study the history through Europe and what the church had done throughout Europe, particularly during the Dark Ages, which lasted 1,000 years, they will see how Europeans became so indoctrinated with religion. You'll see the amount of Europeans that died because these psychopaths within the church, wanted to spread their Christianity. So the whole, like I talk about the whole concept of witches and all this stuff, those came because white women, right, who, as with any other group of women, that's just the natural instinct to want to heal, want to nurture. That's who they are as human beings. I remember growing up, my mother, when, if you were feeling whatever, she'd be like, go get some bushes from off of that tree. And she'll boil it in the water and you drink it and you feel better. Okay? This is what women naturally do and who they naturally are. They're nurturers. They're, for the most part, they're healers. Women, part of women, one of the function of a woman's body is also to heal, right? Not just their children, they're nursing their children to give their children the nutrients that they need for their brain to develop, properly, but also to heal their men, being affectionate, intimacy. These are all part of women's natural ability and characteristics. But what have the white races done to our women, particularly black women? What have they done? They have removed that natural instinct, right? And they have given them a more masculine trait, more than any other group of women. So again, we have to understand these things, all right? And I don't do what I do to be spiteful in any way. I do what I do because I want people to wake up, to understand what's going on. I don't care what label they want to put on. All I just ask people to think. Look at your reality. Look at your family unit. Look at how they are functioning, okay? Within the black community. I'm talking about black people now. Look at your family unit, and then I want you to go and do some research, right? So when they want to push this whole single woman narrative about that, that doesn't apply to like the negative effect of single woman being parent and heading a household where just they're the head of the household doesn't have any negative impact. That's a lie. That is a lie. And because they know that they condition you to always want to feel good and ignore the reality, you're going to believe what they say because you feel good. It makes you feel good. This whole idea about, Pam told me, she was like, I'm living my soft feminine life. I'm like, really? But when I say something to you, you want to snap at me. You want to give me some, you want to be rude. You want to, what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. So I asked her, my daughter had her tooth came out and she was bleeding in her mouth. So I'm in the living room, Pam is in the kitchen. I said to her, go in the kitchen and ask your mother to put some salt in some water and then go shake it up in the bathroom and spit it out. She goes into the kitchen. What do you know what her mother says to her? Your father, why don't your father do it? I'm like, you. So I got up, went into the kitchen, and I said, what do you mean? I said, you right in the kitchen. Oh, well, I'm busy. I'm doing laundry. Wow. So all you're doing is putting the clothes in the machine, turn the machine on. That's it. That's all you're doing. And on top of that, the cabinet, you right back next to the cabinet and the cups. Oh, why don't you come and do it? And I turned around. I'm like, really? I'm like, you were really you know. And then another incident where she's in the kitchen, I had turned the kettle on. The kettle started boiling, started whistling. I asked her to turn it off. She was like, you know, you can do it, you right there. I said, Pamela, you right next to the stove. I said, I'm entering into the kitchen, but you right next to the stove. You can't turn it off. You know, so stuff like that, what she do, these passive aggressive shit, you know? And when I was leaving tonight, she's like, oh, you leaving early? I said, yes, I am. Because I'm not going to stay around and you talk about how you tired or you went out last night and came home, you know, really late and I'm supposed to pick up your slack. Sorry, not doing it. Talk to you guys.